There's a quiet addiction almost everyone carries. It doesn't look dangerous. It doesn't look destructive. It doesn't even look like a choice. It shows up in a single sentence, one you say to yourself without thinking. Just one more minute. One more minute before you get out of bed. One more minute before you start the work. One more minute before you leave the house, call them back, put the phone down, or begin the thing you swore you'd begin. It feels harmless. It feels soft. It feels like a pause in life, not a pattern. But it's not a pause. It's a loop. And it has more control over your time, identity, and direction than you ever realized. This isn't procrastination. It's not laziness. It's an addiction to the relief that one more minute gives you. Think about a morning. Not a dramatic one, just an ordinary one. Your alarm goes off. You open your eyes. For a second, everything is still. Then the weight of the day enters the room. Responsibilities, expectations, tasks that require your energy before your body has even moved. And your mind whispers, just one more minute. Just let me stay here a little longer. You don't argue with it. You don't question it. You surrender. Not because you want to, but because the alternative feels heavier than it should. Or maybe it's late at night. You promised yourself you'd sleep earlier, but the glow of the screen feels warm, comforting, alive in a way the silence of the room doesn't. You say, one more minute, and then I'll turn it off. But you never turn it off on the next minute. The minute renews itself like a contract you didn't read. Or picture this. You finish eating. You need to clean the kitchen. The dishes are right there. The cloth is right there. But your body feels like it weighs a little more than it should, and your mind negotiates. One more minute to rest, then I'll do it. And somehow, that minute becomes the rest of the night. You don't lose control of your life in grand collapses. You lose it in tiny negotiations you don't even realize you're making. Here's the psychological truth most people never learn. Your brain isn't addicted to comfort. Your brain is addicted to relief. The moment you face friction, even something as small as getting off the sofa, your nervous system sends a stress signal. It's mild, almost invisible, but you feel it. A subtle tightening in the chest, a micro flicker of resistance, a tiny heaviness behind the eyes. And when you say, just one more minute, that stress signal dissolves. Your brain rewards you instantly. A micro dose of dopamine. A micro sigh of relief. Not because you did something good, but because you escaped something uncomfortable. So your brain learns, delay equals relief. Escape equals reward. Avoidance equals comfort. That single moment becomes a loop. Intention, discomfort, delay, dopamine, relief. The brain loves loops like that. Loops with instant payoff. Loops that require nothing but time. Loops that feel safe. So it repeats, and repeats, and repeats, until the loop becomes automatic. You don't decide to delay. You drift into delay. You think you're choosing rest, but your brain is choosing the chemical hit behind it. You think one more minute is buying you peace, but it's actually creating a long-term habit of stepping away from your own life the moment it asks something of you. And the worst part? The loop is so subtle you can live inside it for years without ever realizing you're trapped. This addiction doesn't stay in one corner of your life. It spreads. In relationships, you delay sending the message. You avoid the conversation. You tell yourself you'll bring it up later. You wait for a better moment, a moment that never arrives. People drift away not because you didn't care, but because you kept waiting for a moment where you felt ready. In health, you tell yourself you'll start working out next week, that you'll fix your sleep once things calm down, that you'll drink more water tomorrow. But tomorrow always mirrors today. You don't lose fitness in one big moment. You lose it in countless small ones where you delayed action because the present felt uncomfortable. In dreams and direction, you think you lack discipline. You think you lack motivation. But the truth is simpler. Your brain became addicted to the feeling of not starting. Because starting feels heavy. Starting feels uncertain. Starting requires identity, and identity is always harder to face than distraction. In identity itself, you begin to see yourself as someone who doesn't follow through, someone who waits, someone who hesitates, someone trapped in the doorway of their own potential. But that perception is built on a series of micro-delays that were never meant to define you. The loop defines you only when you stop noticing it. There comes a moment, slow, quiet, often late at night, when it hits you. You're not losing battles. You're losing minutes. You're not losing control of your life. You're losing tiny chances to step into it. You're not overwhelmed by the big things. You're eroded by the small ones. You look at your life and think, how much more could I have done if I didn't keep postponing the moment I began? How many opportunities dissolved because I waited for the right energy instead of using the energy I had? How many times did I choose a minute of comfort over a future of momentum? And the grief is not loud, it's soft. It's the grief of realizing you were present in your life, but not participating. But here's the part most people never see. You're not grieving the time you wasted. You're grieving the version of yourself who could have existed if you had met your moments instead of postponing them. That's the collapse. Not guilt, recognition. And recognition changes everything. The way out is far simpler than people imagine. You don't need to force discipline. You don't need to become a machine. You don't need to destroy the loop with willpower. You only need to reclaim the second before you delay. That's the only moment that matters. Not the action, not the task, not the outcome. Just the second where the negotiation begins. If you can hold that tiny moment, feel it, recognize it, name it, the loop loses its invisibility. And once it's visible, you get to choose differently. Not dramatically, not perfectly, just consciously. The goal isn't to erase one more minute. The goal is to stop letting it decide your fate. Your life is not shaped by hours. It's shaped by minutes. The ones you think don't matter. The ones you surrender without thought. The ones that slip away when you blink. But minutes build momentum, and momentum builds identity. If you can reclaim even one of those lost minutes, if you can start one thing at the moment you usually delay, your entire trajectory changes. Because the present moment is the only place your future can begin. Where in your life do you feel the pull of one more minute? And what shifts when you finally decide not to obey it?